Welcome back to the channel all. So, working on the JANSPEED today, and as you can see I've got some bits all over the floor. Couldn't believe it, they're actually undone. I warmed up one of the ends with a propane torch and actually undone, couldn't believe it. So what are my tasks today then? So I am doing the oil return for the turbo. Just mocking up some of the pipes, but at the moment I'm not going to go and mock it up at the minute because I've only got a temporary fitting in there at the minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop the entire sump down, and as you probably know, as some of them already know, these are an absolute nightmare to do because you have to drop all the subframe off, and also drop out all the front diff because this is four-wheel drive, so it makes everything a lot more of a hassle. So I have to use that tool up there to hold the engine up. Now, as the magic of TV, I'm going to switch to the point where I've actually got the sump off, and I'm going to be ready to TIG weld a piece to it. So let me show you what I'm going to do. If I can find it, is it in here? That right there. So I'm going to weld that to the sump with my TIG welder. I'm going to go and fetch my TIG welder and go and do all that, but I'm not going to be doing that right this second, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. So, right, as I say, magic of TV now. So, as you can see, I have dismantled all the lower part of the engine. So, subframe off, transfer box off, steering rack, and oh, you can't even see it. No light whatsoever. See if I can get in there. As you can see, all down. Let's go and get a torch out. H-beam rods. And my Impel pistons are up there somewhere. Well, now I can actually sort out trying to go and get the sump to seal, and then I can TIG weld the sump. It's there, you see where that, I put that on, that bit there. I'm going to TIG weld a juk fit into it, so then it'll fit nicely. So this is the next day. So what am I doing today then? I'm going to be cleaning up the sump, which is down there, and I'm going to go and check my big ends and my mains to make sure that nothing has gone on towards. It has been sitting in a body shop for a while, and when I took the sump down there was a heap of sludge in there, so I'm going to double check it to make sure everything's okay, and then that's what all I'm going to do today. I was going to do some TIG welding, but actually I left my TIG welder at home, so I can only do so much. So I've checked my big end bearings and my mains, and everything's fine. There's no unusual score marks or anything like that, so I cleaned them up and put them back in, torqued them down with ARP fluid. Right, that is the juk fitting that I'm going to weld into the sump with my TIG welder. Focus. Something like that. So that's going to go in here like thus, and I'm going to use the bluntest drill bit known to mankind in the softest aluminium ever. So, and then if I only had another juk fitting to go and fit that in its hole in there. The reason why that I haven't got one is because I wasn't sure if I was going to use that piece there. What that was going to be for was I was going to get an alternator with a vacuum pump attached to it, so then I can use it for my wastegate, and then use it for one of those variable valve things that you can attach to an ECU. That was a future modification I was going to do. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with the drilling. Not my So I've just completed the welding. You didn't see me do it all because it's taken me absolutely ages to work out how to remember how to use my machine as well as doing it. So what am I doing right now? Well, stupidly, because I was talking to somebody, completely forgot to put a bar across the top here, and and it's distorted the top. It hasn't distorted it a lot, but I'm using oxyacetylene and a little bit of gentle persuasion to try and get it down there. So it's warm at the moment, so I'm going to leave it for a little bit longer, check to see if it's still distorted. It's not massively machine fit. It uses silicon sealant anyway, so I mean, I check the other side, just check to see how much light passes through, and there's still light that passes through. I'm going to check it in a minute, and hopefully that I've got away with it. If not, I'll have to buy another sump. Great. Sorry for the change of scenery there. I had to remove the audio from the next two clips because my boss was talking, the radio was on, and a customer turned up. What I was doing is I've removed the front diff cover, and I'm inspecting the crown wheel, and I saw there was a little bit of pickup on it as well, so that's all I was doing. I just thought I wanted to clear that up just in case you wondered what was going on. Enjoy the rest of the video, and it will continue on. Alright, so in this clip here, what I was doing was creating two brackets to hold the front coolant pipe which runs on the front of this engine. My one was floating around everywhere and kept on hitting the reluctor ring, which is actually situated on the pulley. Now, if I left it, it would just grind all the way through it, and I couldn't really have that. So that's what I was just showing on this video. This was a little piece that I made, but in actual fact, I never even used that in the end. I actually made something completely different. So it was a little bit of a waste of time, but I knew what I needed to do, and I actually found something a lot more stronger and a lot more taut, which held the pipe easier and much better as well. I will update that at a later date. It's not going to be in this video, I'm afraid. While I was putting it all back together, this is what happens on these particular cars. I've happened on my other one as well. The captive nut breaks inside, and you have to cut it open to get into it. This happens in a lot of vehicles that I've done before. A lot of Fords, it does it too, especially Transits and stuff. But on this particular one, it has a small box, reinforced box, surrounded in the chassis. So you have to butcher it open just to get to it. So this is what I was doing in here as well. So, and I actually do the other side, which is in the next clip. So when it rains, it pours. The other side, about to put it back on, and this is what happens. Hey. You guessed it, yes. Radio's on again, so it's just showing where I was going to weld the nut onto the captive end nut that's broken off. That was it. Next plan of action is to lower the entire rear axle here and clean all the lower arms. It's not very good lighting here. Yes, but there's the rear lower arms. One's there and one's over here. But my plan is I'm going to lower it all down, clean it all off with a wire wheel, and then hammerite it, and maybe change the bearings as well, because they're roller tapered bearings in these. And the bonnet's closed at the moment because I'm closing up now. My next plan of action is to lower the entire rear axle here and clean all the lower arms. It's not very good lighting here. Yes, but there's the rear lower arms. One. So what exactly is that? Well, my theory is it's coming from the rear spring in there. See that there? Now the trouble is, because this has rear trailing arms, everything's all attached to the rear frame, and I have to take the entire frame down to get to it, and I have to disconnect all the brakes and things like that, and it's not easy to get to. So I'll see if I can show you, because it's not exactly the best light underneath here. So I've got to take all this down. Oh, still nothing. That's probably a bit better. Well, I've got to take all these arms off and things like that, so I'm going to get on with that, and you're going to see me do it all. Right. Sorry about that, my boss left the ignition on my car and I didn't notice when I took it up in the air, so I had to bring it back down, turn the ignition off because the ABS pump was going. Let's get back on with it. Okay, you've just watched me dismantle all of that. Now, what is the plan that I'm going to be doing with this? So I'm going to clean everything up, wire wheel it all and make a complete mess of everything. I've been checking some of these bushes out, which I planned to change for polyurethane bushes, but as it happens, nothing's arrived because of the current climate we're all in. So what I plan to do is just clean it and get it right so I know where everything is, because it's been a while since I've actually taken one of these to pieces. So at the moment everything's sort of come off quite nicely, which is very, very unusual, and I'm very happy about that, because then that means it can go back together nicely. I'll be lubricating all the bolts and things like that to make sure they go together. I'm going to wire wheel everything so then it looks nicer. I would have liked to have had it powder coated, but that's just not going to happen at the moment. So what my idea of it was to find out what was wrong with this leg here, if there's anything at all, because there could well be something wrong with it. I want to measure from corner to corner to see if there's any anything bent or anything like that. I'll do the same thing for this side to see what kind of size difference there is. May well be that one of these parts have been bent, or it's been in an impact some point in its life, and that's the reason why it's doing that. Or it could well be the spring. Anyway, I've noticed as well that these bushes here are knackered, but you know, what can I do? Not much I can do about it right now. So, and also, which is a little bit irritating, is that I can't take the drive shafts out at the moment because I haven't got the right sized socket for that. I've left it at home. I think if I remember rightly, it is either a 36 or a 38. I can't remember. Now I've got one at home, but I haven't got one here. So I'm going to do what I can with the time I've got and then leave it until tomorrow. But I would have liked to have got these wire wheeled today, but it's not going to happen. Right, I'm going to crack on with this because that's all I can do for today. the bearing housing and also the heat shield. I can't do much with the spring because I can't get the wire wheel in between, so I might just have to leave that as it is, and if potentially even just buy some new ones, because I might get the lowering set on this, might change it. So I've done the drive shaft, but what I did find was this is actually from a Fiat of some sort, so that's interesting. I didn't know that, because on my newer one I got an 89, I'm sure that says Lobro on it, which I think is part of some other big company. I can't remember what they're called now, but yeah, I thought that was interesting to know. Right, I'm going to crack on with this side. In comparison, look at that, compared to the other one, completely different. Well, it would be, obviously. Okay, right, and all that's the mess that I've made that I had to sweep up around here. Great, isn't it? Right, this is what I've been up to since when the camera died on me, and I had to put the battery on charge for an hour or so. So I've painted what I can get to for the time being, and I've just been tidying up. So I've labelled everything. Considering me painting it, it doesn't actually look too bad. So I've done all that, and now I've just got to tidy up all of that mess there. Look at that, that's what came off of it all. Quite a lot of stuff. So it's the next day after that I've painted these two pieces on the car, and I'm going to go and check to see how bad I've done it. Well, if I go squint like that. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna go with that. It looks pretty good. So as you can see, very red and silver, and the rear axle's nice and black.